Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, let me go ahead and post that link then. Okay, should we go ahead and post this on Ohio News and Weather now?
Yes.
Okay, Kelly said that he can.
Yes.
Okay. Kelly said. Okay, I'm sorry I didn't that. Kelly said that he could only see you, but it looks like it was alternating there. So, it looks like it does alternate back and forth.
Between the audio?
Yes. Well, no video between who he can see.
Okay, I think what it does is it switches between, it catches on to whoever's talking. I think that's what it does.
Yeah, I'm posting this on Ohio News and Weather right now. I gotta send you the other link because that one isn't the right one.
I'm just testing out this link real quick to see what it does because I'm talking right now, so I want to see.
When I clicked on it, it took me to where it needed to go.
Well, yeah, I'm on it right now. And it's only showing you, yes.
But I think you should see it alternate.
Nope.
It should. It was alternating when I did it. Maybe, let me see.
Unless it hasn't caught up yet.
Let me come over here and I'll click. Maybe if I click on you and then just give it a few seconds and then see if it turns over.
Yeah, no, it isn't switching yet. It just not caught up to where I was saying that. That's how behind this is.
It's like a 7-second delay.
Yeah, it's not alternating.
Is it caught up?
It's well behind.
Let me see what happens when I'm going to mute my sound for a second. I click on you. Okay, so see there it just alternated. It changed. Just give it a few seconds and then see if it turns over.
Yeah, no, it isn't switching yet. It just not caught up to where I was saying that. That's how behind this is.
It's like a 7-second delay. Yeah, so like right now I'm watching and showing you.
Okay. It's not alternating.
Is it caught up?
It's well behind.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause that so I don't have to keep hearing myself. But it looks like it does. So we good? Am I good to post this?
Yeah.
Okay. And it is 6:30. So
well, what are we talking about first?
I was just gonna do a radar update, and then we can talk about the biggest thing, which is probably the Mercer County state of emergency. Correct?
Yeah. I was planning on showing a few live cams talking about how we are now up to 2.36 inches here in Cedarville, which brings our total since I've gotten this thing up to 4.02 inches. Maybe show some weather cams out there. I'll try and pull those up really quick.
All right, so we good to get started? We want to wait a minute.
Give me a second to get up these traffic cameras.
Okay.
computer's running slower now.
Yeah, I noticed mine is too. All right, so just to do a test, I am currently sharing GR3, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure that works. I will stop sharing that for now.
You can actually set it to where it only shows GR3 and not your desktop.
So are you seeing my desktop right now?
Right now I'm seeing your radar, but I can see you switching between things every once in a while.
Okay, so do you see Facebook right now?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, then it's working the way it should then. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay, I got some other cameras. Okay.
Okay, cool. So whenever you want to screen share, then you'll just have to share your screen. That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, all right. I'll go ahead and kick things off then here in just a few seconds.
Remember, everything we've already said is being recorded, so what if we post this? It's being recorded.
Yep. Good evening, Ohio's News Center. I am Chief Weather Forecaster Nicholas Dunn. I am honored to be alongside student meteorologist Ryan Kaufman. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening, Nick. How are you?
Well, looking out my window and it's still raining.
I completely feel you right there because, I mean, you can see right there on your radar that you had up before I started talking. By the way, this is our first time using Google Hangouts, so we're still trying to get used to the fact that when we talk, it switches between us. But right now here in Cedarville, we have had 2.4 inches of rain today alone. That brings our monthly total up to 4.05 inches. Since I've gotten this rain gauge, what was that, last week, Nick?
Yeah, that's correct. That's quite a bit of rain, and I'm afraid we have more to come. But let's start things off with a look at our ONC 7 Live Pinpoint Storm Tracker HD. And we're going to actually zoom into southern Ohio to start because there are a few stronger thunderstorms. One, as you can see right here to the east of Hillsboro. I'll turn on the storm tracks that are on here. And you see as moving off to the southeast at about 25 knots, which for human terms is about 30 miles per hour. It's going to head towards Sinking Spring and then eventually into Pike County. Also got another couple strong thunderstorms here across Meigs and Jackson County. Those will be heading across the river and into West Virginia here before too long. But the bigger concern is flooding. That is going to be the big talk, not just today, not just tomorrow, but all the way through early weekend, and more than likely, even after all the rain has stopped, next week we're still going to likely be dealing with flooding issues. Areas you see here in green, I know it's kind of, I'm going to turn off the radar for just a second so you can actually see the areas in green. These are all under a flash flood watch until midnight tonight. And basically, we're concerned about thunderstorms training across the same areas. And Ryan, that is not what we want to see.
No, it's not. And that's what we've been having all day long. And I'm going to try and share my screen here really quick to show the storm totals from Wilmington radar. Let me try and get this, if it'll let me. Well, Nick, while I'm still trying to figure this out, why don't we go ahead and talk about Mercer County?
Yes, so big news this afternoon is that we've had Mercer County being declared under a state of emergency for flooding. And Ryan, that's something we don't see on a daily basis here in Ohio. We just don't normally have this kind of issue to where we have state of emergencies for flooding.
No, we hardly ever see that. And actually, as we do look at my screen here, going on up to Mercer County now. Right there. Sorry. Salina, 5.5 inches of rain on the storm total here. Cold water is seen upwards of 6 inches. This is all away from the radar. So I mean, how much was really? Nick, you want to help me explain that? I mean, the fact that as we get farther away from the radar site, we start to see less returns.
Yes. So basically, the further away you are from the radar, it is less accurate in terms of rainfall totals. But again, anytime we show you these radar totals, these are estimates. These are not official totals whatsoever because, Ryan, official totals can vary from one side of a neighborhood to another.
Exactly. And as we bring back up my screen here, try and zoom in, see if we can't get a city in here between Chattanooga and Neptune. I mean, there's 4 inches out in this region of Chattanooga, but as we get closer to 127, start to see about 5 inches in there, and even as we head up into Minden, 7 inches. So I mean, this isn't that far of an area apart from each other, and there's a 2-inch difference over this entire total.
Yeah, and Ryan, we're going to be seeing more rain, and it's definitely not a good thing, and it's just going to exacerbate the flooding problems. And I think this has become more of a statewide issue later this week.
There's no way I can deny that or doubt that in the least, especially across northern Ohio. But let me see if I can't put this. Nope, I lost my loop on there. What I was trying to show is this area down here in the southern part of the Miami Valley has really grown in size for the total rain amounts. I mean, over here in Greene County, State Route 42, I posted this earlier, is flooded towards Xenia right now. And that's actually in this part between Wilberforce and Xenia. They've seen upwards of just over 4 inches of rain. But over here in Cedarville, starting to see, just like Miami County has, 5 inches on this total rainfall.
Yep, and I know parts of, especially Franklin and Fairfield County, particularly in the Franklin-Fairfield County border, Ryan, have seen quite a bit of rain as well, well over 4, and maybe even approaching 5 inches in some instances.
Yeah, I mean, over here in Fairfield County toward Pickerington, 5.28 inches up here closer to I-70. As you get into Columbus, this is a perfect example of what you're talking about. Hilliard, over here, only 2 inches, but as we get towards Upper Arlington, 3 inches down toward downtown Columbus, upwards of 4 inches.
Yep. So we're going to continue to watch the flooding in Ryan. The remnants of Tropical Storm Bill are only going to make things worse. And from what I've just looked on the latest computer models, we're looking at a potential additional 3 to 5 inches of rain, which is not going to be a very good thing for any part of Ohio at this point.
No, it's not for, like you just said, any part. I mean, over the weekend we had all those flood warnings across northern Ohio. Those are starting to spread south. I know many people were woken up this morning, probably on their day off like myself, by weather radio for a flash flood watch that was issued across north, central, middle part of Ohio. And we're going to start to see that more and more throughout the week. I mean, just like you said, we can see upwards of 4. So I wouldn't be surprised if some spots saw an upwards of an additional 5 inches of rain.
Yep, and I would like to show you, if I was able to, using GR level 3, our the different radar or the different river gauges across Ohio. But I'm going to actually do that on my phone since that place file is not currently working at the moment.
I think I can get that actually on my browser here. Just 1 second.
Okay. The biggest concern for Mercer County, Ryan, I was talking about this earlier. The biggest thing is the St. Mary's River near Decatur, and I've talked to you about this a little earlier. That runs through a portion of Mercer and Van Wert counties, and I know that very well it's going to become a mess. So if you do have pictures, send them to us. We do want to see them, but I caution you, make sure that you are safe when doing so. The latest reading that I can get on the St. Mary's River at Decatur for you, that as of 5 p.m. this evening, which not too long ago, the stage was at 24.1 feet and rising, which now puts that into major flood stage. To put that in perspective for you, around this stage is when we see progress. Major flooding is in progress with the water at the top of the levee protecting the central soil plant. Also, US 224 at Decatur is closed by floodwater, and US Highway 33 near Wilshire, Ohio, begins to flood. Extensive flooding of the east side of Decatur, along with Belmont High School, also occurs, and evacuations become necessary. The last time the river was this high was January 14th of 2005. So, Ryan, it's been a while since this river has been this high.
I actually just saw on our local news here, they were doing a piece here in Greene County showing flooding from 2004 in Xenia about how all the houses were underwater. In that time period, they were having to use boats and helicopters from above to rescue people, and hoping that doesn't happen again. But we saw some pictures earlier, I don't know if you did, from Coldwater up in the northern part of the Miami Valley. Their town is completely underwater right now.
Yeah, I did see those, and that's going to be one of just many things to come over the next several days. Another river I do want to talk about is I believe this is this is the Blanchard River near Findlay, because now we have a change in terms of what is expected with it. Last night, I reported to you on our river status that we were only expecting moderate flooding. That has now been since upgraded to major flooding, and I will work on getting all statuses of all of our rivers posted this evening. However, as of 11 o'clock this morning, the stage is at 12.5 feet and rising. Moderate flooding is occurring, and major flooding is forecast. Now, I can tell you that it is going to go over 14.5 feet. The State of Dental Marine does not have exactly how high it may go, but at 14.5 feet, the city of Findlay is split in half by floodwaters, inhibiting travel in and out of the city. Ryan, we've seen the Blanchard River do this before, and I'm hoping the residents of Findlay are a little bit better prepared this time, but something tells me we're going to see repeat occurrences just like in the past in Findlay.
Oh, I hope not. I'm actually trying to pull up that river stage right now. My computer's running a little bit slow. We actually did just purchase some new graphics tonight that you might be seeing here in the future. I'm pretty sure that's what's lagging my computer down. But I am still trying to pull up that river gauge from up where you were just talking about.
Okay. I'll go over a couple more other alerts. We do have an aerial flood warning that does continue until 9 o'clock tonight for portions of Mercer County, Darke County, Auglaize County, Shelby County, Hardin County, Logan County, Champaign County, and also Union County. There's another aerial flood warning that goes in effect until 8:30, which I do expect all these to be extended. This is for northern portions of Mercer, Hardin, and Auglaize counties in Ohio. We also have one more aerial flood warning for Union and Delaware County. That goes, let me double check the time on that. That will go until 9 o'clock tonight. And one last aerial flood warning for Marion and Morrow County until 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, Ryan, this is just the beginning of what's going to be a very long week, I think, across most of Ohio.
Completely agree, and I'm actually going to share. There we go. Can you see it now? That's
yes, I can see that.
Okay. This is the flood stage hydrograph for the Blanchard River up at Findlay, and you can see it actually got up to 13.2 feet. Let's see, this was on Tuesday at 4:45 a.m. That got very, very close to a major flood stage at 13.5, and I think you mentioned this, the record up there was 18.5 feet. It's on the decline right now. It's getting into the minor stages as of, let's see, that's forecasted to be at 8 p.m. It's going to be in the minor at about 11.9 feet, which then should just quickly recede down by Thursday.
I would love to say that's going to happen, but I think with more rain, those totals, those readings could get adjusted just a little bit. I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either, and as you can see right there, there's still a flood warning for it. You were just mentioning that. We're definitely going to have to keep an eye out on all of these river stages to see what's going to happen.
Yep. If perhaps you could go over to the left, if you pay on your map, into Adams County, Indiana, and pull up the St. Mary's River at Decatur. It should be in purple,
yep.
I believe, by now. And while Ryan's pulling that up, I am going to tell you that flood warning as of right now is in effect until Tuesday morning. So as you can see, Ryan is pulling up that hydrograph right now. And the biggest concern, I've seen a lot of pictures out of Decatur of people bagging sandbags. And wow, Ryan, look at the forecast for this.
Yeah, we are currently sitting at just above the major flood stage at 24.12. The major flood stage technically begins at 24 inches or feet. Sorry. It will dip back down a little bit into the moderate, and then basically just climb back up to 24.5 feet, which is very close to the record of 26.9.
Yep, and Ryan, that area got hit very hard this morning. They are also under a flash flood watch there. That flash flood watch for them is in effect until 9 o'clock this evening, which I do want to mention that part of the flash flood watch extends into Van Wert and Allen counties in Ohio. But Ryan, they've had a lot of rain today too, and checking the radar right now, they are about to get another round of moderate to heavy rain. So it would not surprise me to see some of these readings and forecasts fluctuate just a little bit.
Honestly, would not shock me in the least. I'm pulling back up my radar really quick because I didn't really see what you were talking about out there. Let me try and do the 1 hour radar and see what happens. There is a little stretch across I-70 in the last hour that's seen about 0.32 inches at its highest, and that is starting to progress eastward as it's sitting over top of Vandalia and Huber Heights right now. Overall, I think that's the biggest impression I'm seeing on here, except for in southeast Ohio. Interesting, though, we haven't seen much out of southeast Ohio yet.
No, and that's where we've seen a little bit drier of a period today, and that allowed the atmosphere to heat up a little bit more than it did here. Ryan, we're sitting in the 60s here, but that is definitely allowing for some more daytime heating and thus the stronger thunderstorms. I noticed that you are looking at the velocity down there in southeast Ohio. There's some pretty strong storms down in that neck of the woods, as I was mentioning just a little while ago.
Yeah, actually, we were watching, I think, Ken out of Mid-Ohio Valley Weather Update. He was mentioning a warning down there. I'm not sure if it was a tornado warning. Was it, Nick?
No, it was a severe thunderstorm warning, and it looks like that has been allowed to expire, but I do see a special weather statement on for that cell.
Yeah, I'm trying to get down to the Charleston radar right now. It's going to glitch out on me here in a second. There we go. Actually pull up the radar. Some of the storms, they look rather normal right now. The special weather statement looks like it might have gone away or it hasn't caught up yet. But as I look at the base velocities down here, very impressive winds down here in Frenchton, 63 to 70 mile per hour winds down in there. Not much going on rotation-wise except for down here toward Syracuse. I wouldn't focus on that too much. There's probably nothing really with that. And there's a little bit of a notch with it, but it's not impressive. They haven't warned it at all down there, so I don't think that's anything to worry about. Yeah, I think southeast Ohio is looking pretty good right now. And here toward Rutland, the same storm I was just on. Switching over to see about what's going on in the storm. Mostly hail through there. Good bit of hail. Switch over to vertically integrated liquid. Not much of a hail core on it. There is back here toward Oak Hill. Let's see what's going on there. That's a pretty good storm right there. But other than that, it's panning out with our outlook for the day.
Yep, and we'll be posting another outlook a little bit later on this evening regarding tomorrow. But Ryan, I do want to focus a little bit of attention to a possible severe weather threat Saturday, depending on the track of Tropical Storm Bill, which with the center of low pressure going to be in the vicinity, it's going to add a little bit more of a helicity factor to the atmosphere that we may have to pay very close attention to this weekend.
Exactly, and you really get this with any time with a tropical system that can come into the area. It just starts to ramp things up. We saw that back in 2006 or 8, I forget which one it was, with Hurricane Ike that came through, which caused so much damage through the Dayton area, and probably over in Columbus. I remember that very vividly. They actually declared a state of emergency here in my town. Lots of state emergencies all across the state. I'm not saying that's going to happen again. Don't quote me on that. It's just always interesting when you get a tropical storm system in here in the Ohio area, and I'm actually trying to pull up the latest models right now to look at it.
Yep, and while he's doing that, I want to just add on to the potential for the severe weather threat we may see, the flooding we're probably more than likely going to see. It's probably going to be a statewide problem. I was actually just looking at a computer model that meteorologist Eric Elwell had shared, an animated computer model of how much rain we could see. I'm seeing widespread 2 to 4 inches, isolated pockets of 5 inches. And Ryan, if we get a band of thunderstorms to develop with the circulation that goes around low pressure systems and even subtropical cyclones like we're going to be seeing coming through here, not trying to make it any worse than what it really is, but this system is going to become eventually extratropical, and subtropical is not going to have any more of its tropical characteristics. But Ryan, anytime you get one of those bands that rotates around like that, you can add a little bit of rotation to the atmosphere. And also if you get a band that just goes over the same area, that could enhance the rainfall and definitely cause flooding a lot quicker.
Right, and the one problem that I am seeing with the models right now is the jet stream. As the storm gets closer, it's going to start to push the jet stream a little bit more farther east, if you will, because there's going to be a high pressure near there as well. So it's going to be low pressure versus high pressure. Going to see what's going to happen with this. I'm not too sure yet, but if I had to gander right now, if I had to make an outlook, I'd put it at a low risk for right now. As we get closer, we'll definitely be able to see, because I do see some chances for some severe storms to form out ahead of it on Saturday. And then as the storm gets in here, it looks like on Sunday early morning, as of right now, looks like we could have some interesting weather as well. and total cumulative precip by that time, we could be seeing upwards of 6 possible inches according to the latest NAM model.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see flood watches. I think after tomorrow gets by, I think come Friday we're going to see a lot more flood watches issued for a good chunk of the state, because after today, now we're seeing the I-70 corridor in points north ground is now saturated if it wasn't already. So that's going to be an area we're going to have to watch, and maybe even as far south as the US 22 corridor, give or take a few miles from that point northward to I-70, and then even further north. I think we're going to see a lot more flood watches issued. I think by the time Friday gets here, so that folks in those watch areas can prepare for the potential for possible flooding.
Nick, I did just catch on to this storm as we're doing this live right now. It's down towards Piketon, if you want to pull up your radar really quick. It caught my eye. I switched over to velocities near Morgantown on this one, if you want to pull that up. I'm not going to mention it yet. I want to see what Nick says as we're doing this live. Let me know when you have that up.
Yep, I'm actually sharing that now, and I'm going to pull this up here. So here's where we're talking. You can see the sweep is going around there. We're talking in Pike County, and there's Morgantown. Let's turn on the velocity there, and yeah, there is actually a little bit of weak rotation showing up just to the southwest of Morgantown. None of our mesocyclone icons or TVS icons are showing up, Ryan, which would be a sign of extremely, extremely weak rotation.
Right. I actually do have a hail icon, though, of possibly a ½ an inch in size. So this is something that we're going to have to watch. They might end up doing something with this storm here very shortly. It just caught my eye.
Yep, and one other thing, we look at the storm relative velocity, too. And, yeah, about the same, it's very broad. It's not very tight. There's no well-defined couplage showing up. But nevertheless, a strong thunderstorm for sure. You can see the storm track on that, and I'll kind of zoom out a little bit so you can see where it is heading. It looks like the heart of the storm could just go just to the south of Piketon, and it's going to head towards Wakefield and Stockdale before eventually entering into Ken's region in Jackson County in southeast Ohio. So we'll watch that closely. But in terms of other things going on across the area, I've zoomed out the radar. You can see, again, the heaviest, most concentrated and organized area of activity is in southeast Ohio. But Ryan, what I'm concerned about, even though this is mainly light to moderate rain from Columbus all the way back to Newcastle, Indiana, all of that is moving due east. And even though it's light to moderate rain, that could eventually pose a very gradual increase in flooding concern along the I-70 corridor, given a flash flood watch is already in place.
Exactly, and it's just going to be a training situation. And I actually just checked Twitter because our GR. Oh, yep, we just got a warning on that storm down in Morgantown just now. It just came out. Winds up to 65 miles per hour. Locations include Waverly and Piketon. Hail up to almost an inch in size. So if you are watching from Elm Grove, Jasper, Piketon, Waverly City, Omega, and Morgantown, be ready. The storm is producing some strong winds, and we caught on to it before the National Weather Service even put out a special weather statement on it.
Yep, and like I said, that warning just came out at 6:53. It is now 6:55, and they noted the storm at 6:51. So if I had to put a track on this, it probably would be into Piketon within the next 15 to 20 minutes. And you can also see that over into the Beaver and Stockdale area. That's where it's going to be heading there as well. So that's the latest on that. And Ryan, I'm glad we did not take out the severe risk completely because, well, now we have a warning.
Correct. And actually, the reason I had caught that is because I was going to say that Randolph County in Indiana, which is right there on the Miami Valley side of Ohio, is under a flood warning right now. And I had just gone over to GR3 to try and check and see if it might have popped up, and it did not. But I'm also watching another storm back towards Richmond, Indiana. That could possibly get a severe statement on it soon. Not a severe warning, but a statement.
Yep. So I'm also checking a couple things, and I do have a rotation icon showing. Let me see where that is. Okay, that's for a cell in West Virginia. I'm from the Wilmington area. That's what I'm seeing there. So, Ryan, we're really not seeing any rotation on this, but I am noticing an increase in speed on the thunderstorm itself.
I'm actually trying to check Twitter right now, so I didn't catch that. I can loop it really quick.
Yep, I'm noting
Yeah.
noting winds well over 40 miles per hour now at this point. Just a couple frames ago, when we were talking about even just a very weak rotation on radar, winds weren't even quite up to 40 miles per hour. So it looks like the storm is strengthening just a little bit.
I will say that out 2, 3, 4, 4 frames past the last one. So you get the last one, then click back 4 frames. There is a little bit of an appendage there. North of Sinking Spring, not much showing up on relative velocity, but radar is definitely showing that.
Yeah, and I'm also noting a little bit of rain out ahead of that as well. But so we'll have to watch that as it's heading in towards Jackson County eventually. And I know we haven't quite said this yet, but the warning goes until 7:45 for Pike County. The storm is moving on to the east, and I'd actually maybe put it a little bit south of east at about 30 miles per hour.
I was going to say it looks like it's going south now.
Yep. So hopefully, if you live in those areas, you are taking shelter. But as we were just alluding to prior to that warning being issued, which we actually just now saw that with us here live, we're riding along the I-70 corridor. A nice train of light to occasionally moderate and even a couple pockets of heavy rain is going to train right across the same area. Could easily see another half inch just by the time the back edge from Richmond gets all the way through Columbus.
I mean, at this point, anything that you get, it's just going to be putting salt on the wound. Anywhere in this area where we've had this flood dart going on, I mean, we're just going to keep getting this influence the whole time. It's because there's a direct connect to Bill right now. If you look at national radar, this right now connects back to Bill, and this is all an influence because of that. And it's something that we're going to have to watch, and it just caught my eye down here towards Ripley, West Virginia. A little appendage. Not much rotation going on it. Sorry, I'm kind of sidetracked.
That's okay. And Ryan, in addition to Bill being an influence, we've had the same frontal boundary just kind of draped anywhere from northern Ohio down to last night. We had to come back down to southern Ohio, and this morning and this afternoon it's kind of come up a little further north. So we've had the same frontal boundary that's been impacting our weather pattern for the last, well, it seems like forever, but really just about the last week or so. And now we're going to see the remnants of Bill move into the region. It's not going to help anything.
No, not at all. And I'm actually trying to get some pictures up right now of what it looks like out there. Yeah, let me go ahead and start sharing my screen, and I'll just start pulling these up randomly on Twitter. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, so this was taken or shared by ABC6 out of Columbus. This was, not sure where it is, but 5 feet of water here in central Ohio, wherever this may be. I think they're just, in general, posting that fact. But look at that water there. Even if you have a large truck, do not think you can drive through this. We saw this on live coverage, what was that, back in May or April. Some people that tried to cross a bridge, and they had to be rescued by helicopter, Nick.
Yeah, and this is, and I wish more and more towns would do this. As you see Ryan scoring through more photos there, it looks like from the Farm Industry News there in northwest Ohio. Wow, Ryan, looks like that water's that river has pretty much been turned into a lake at this point, and it's not too far from reaching the road there.
Probably not that far away, especially right now because this was shared 6 hours ago. I'm going to gander to say this is a field, so I don't think that farmer's going to be too happy right now. But again, if this water gets any higher, or if it did get any higher, don't drive over that bridge. I know that Mercer County is out of road closed signs out there, and not every road is going to be marked right now.
Exactly, and and as I was about to allude to, I'm actually going to show you. You're going to see the current radar just going around as I'm talking here for just a second. Ryan, I wish more towns would do this, but they are implementing fines for those that drive through these floodwaters, and I wish more communities would do this.
I think you're talking about up in Mercer County. Is that correct?
I was talking just in general. Whenever you see floodwater, not to drive across it, but I've been noticing more and more communities are slowly starting to implement fines for people that drive through, because you're not only putting your life at risk, but you're also putting the emergency responders' life at risk.
Right. It's just kind of a considerate thing to do. I mean, again, going back to that live broadcast we saw before, I'm pretty sure you were watching this. When they had to be rescued by helicopter, they were originally coming out by their by holding onto a fence for their dear life, these rescuers, and eventually they had to just pull back and wait for a helicopter to come and hope these guys didn't get swept away. If you can drive through this, think about during this process who all you're putting at risk. You're putting your family at risk because they might lose you. You're putting the rescuers at risk, and probably the media too, because they're going to be out there.
Yeah, and those are all very valid points to mention. And the big thing, turn around, don't drown.
Don't drown.
Exactly. You know, and that's basically the same saying that goes for when thunder roars, go indoors. You're better off if you, and this really is for Mercer County. If you are a volunteer out there sandbagging, it's great, but make sure you're staying safe, and make sure if you are in that area, if any law enforcement gives you any actions, please take them. I posted that last night when I posted about the St. Mary's River going into major flood stage expected. I understand that it only technically impacts one county, and that would be Van Wert County. However, Wilmington also has a flood warning out for the St. Mary's River at Rockford. It's the same river, just in a different part of the area. And Ryan, I still feel that even though the statement out of Northern Indiana is for major flooding into extreme southwestern Van Wert County, I think the same can be expected for northwestern Mercer County.
Okay. No doubt at all. I'm just so baffled by what is actually happening up there. I'm going to share my screen again. This is from WHIO out of Mercer County in Salina. Nick, I don't think you've seen this yet. Let me try and figure this out. This was a field and a road, two fields right next to each other. And it looks like just a pond right now, or a river.
Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is US 33.
It doesn't really say. It just says this Facebook user shows flooding in Mercer County south of Salina.
Okay. Actually, no, then that's not US 33, because US 33 runs north of Salina. But definitely, boy, and I don't know why that person is trying to drive through there. I hope that they're not too far in there, because it looks like the water is actually kind of flowing across the field there.
Yeah. I'm trying to find more things from this. So go ahead and take it back, Nick, and I'll try and find some more things here.
Okay. So real quick, let's just do another quick radar tour. We're noticing a new strong thunderstorm is developing just to the southwest of, or sorry, just to the north of Cincinnati there. That's got a small little hail core on that as well. That's going to drift into and skirt across northeastern Hamilton County. That's just one storm we're watching. And just giving a quick update on what we're seeing across Pike County. Elm Grove, you're getting the heart of the storm right now, and we can check the velocity to get some wind speeds. And there's the loop, and you can see just based on the velocity, the thunderstorm has increased just a little bit. I'll turn it over to how hard it's raining mode, and you can see the thunderstorm quickly going severe warned, and it is quickly approaching Piketon right now as we speak. So I'll bring it to the latest frame we have, and the latest statement from the National Weather Service continue to indicate a severe thunderstorm near Idaho, not the state Idaho, but the city of Idaho, moving to the east, and I'm more to say east-southeast at about 30 miles per hour. Storm hazards include winds to 60 miles per hour. They do have a statement in here about tornadoes can develop suddenly from these in these conditions. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building if in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors. Move to the closest substantial shelter. Not noticing any rotation on this thunderstorm right now, but I am noting some at least 50-mile-per-hour winds and turning on storm reports where we don't have any out of Pike County right now. So if you have any, send them to us, but make sure you're in a safe condition to do so. Looking at storm relative velocity, I'm not seeing any rotation there worth talking about. Every thunderstorm has a rotating aspect to it. It's just how low that rotation comes down and whether or not radar can pick it up, before we can really start to talk about it here on the air. But again, just playing the velocity part of it, you can see thunderstorms actually increased speed, and it is definitely moving a little bit south of east as well. So real quick, 1 hour rainfall totals just out of this storm. ranging basically from Hillsborough down to northwestern Pike County, approaching an inch per hour. So Ryan, even though these thunderstorms are moving, they're putting down a hefty amount of rain very quickly, given our humid conditions.
I completely agree, and I have another storm here for you. This is just north of Cincinnati. I think this is Hamilton County. This is actually near Hamilton. This one is getting a little more strong, if you will. Base velocities aren't showing much in the way of anything. Basically, some winds up to 25 miles per hour. Showing if there's some hail. There is some hail in here, south of Millville. This is actually heading due east as I loop this out, and as you can see, it is getting stronger as we go. Also noticing we have some storms up here in Indiana and coming into the Richmond and New Hope area across 70. Those are getting a little bit stronger, but as you know, that's been an area that's been inundated by rain today, and probably not going to be seeing much growth out of it. But down here, southeast of Cincinnati, we are seeing a storm over Sherwood. Not much rain has been falling down in this area, if I'm correct on that. Yeah, not much rain. So we'll have to see what happens in the areas that haven't seen much rain today. But also, I wanted to show you this. This is out of New Russell's Point. This is where it's from. This looks like it's in someone's backyard, or there's a stop sign, so maybe out by a road. So again, it doesn't take much for flooding to happen. And I have more photos here if it'll load.
And just for reference, Russell's Point, that is in Logan County in the Miami Valley. So I also know that area very well. US 33 runs through there, and there's actually a very common location for flooding. And I would love to see if we could get a photo out of there. It is just outside of Russell's Point, I believe, along Ohio State Route 720 or 710, one of those two roads. I don't remember the exact name of the state route, but that area, there are two fields on either side of the road, and it always seems to flood. So just kind of taking things back full here, I will real quick and see if we got anything else new to quickly talk about here. Nope, just still the warning here in Pike County. I do have the storm tracks. Again, I'll loop this here for you, and you can kind of see the general motion of everything is basically due east, unless you get south of where all south of the flash flood watches. There's a little bit of a southerly tilt to their southerly turn with the thunderstorms. So, that's the biggest concern now is just the very heavy rain that we're going to have to contend with over the next several days. Ryan, let's quickly talk about tomorrow's severe threat. Based on what we've been seeing the last several days, whatever threat there is of severe weather, it kind of has been depending on if we're able to get the proper amount of daytime heating. But we've had morning thunderstorms for the last several days, or morning clouds and cloud cover, or rain in general, or the frontal boundary just isn't quite in place for severe weather to happen. So tomorrow, kind of up in the air, really.
Trying to pull something up really quick relating to tomorrow, because I haven't seen the latest model data. And yeah, tomorrow, wow, not much going on tomorrow. Thankfully, not much going on. I would honestly expect the Storm Prediction Center to kind of downgrade a slight risk tomorrow, because really the latest models show a few thunderstorms possibly in eastern Ohio, and then not much really going on tomorrow, thankfully.
Yep. I'm going to quickly pause the radar, and I'm going to switch over to Indianapolis just to kind of see behind the rain we've been talking about if there's anything really coming. And thankfully, west of Indianapolis, there is hardly, if any, rain at all. So, and again, with everything moving west to east, west of Indianapolis is where we're going to look. Yes, there's rain south of Indianapolis, but that'll all slide south of Columbus. But Ryan, that's one piece of good news, is that due west of Indianapolis, there's little, if any, rain at all, which any break we can catch at this point is valuable.
That's right, Nick. And actually, I want to bring it back to this Jasper and Piketon storm really quick. You guys can see here we do have sort of inflow mess going on here. This storm's a mess. But as we look at the base velocities, there is still a little bit of weak rotation coming over Piketon right now. This is coming over 23, and it looks like it will be heading, let's say, down towards State Route 32. So if you are down in this region, down southeast of Piketon or east of Piketon, get a camera out just by chance. I'm not telling you to go out into the storm once it comes, but just be looking and see if you can't see possibly a funnel cloud out there. Obviously, if you see a funnel cloud, take shelter immediately, just in case. But it'd be interesting to see what is happening out there because radar isn't too sure right now, Nick, as to what's going on, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a decent-looking storm, and I'm willing to still bet we've got winds at least up to 40 miles per hour occurring with this thunderstorm for sure.
Yeah, there are some spots down here towards Jasper that are upwards of 39 to 42 miles per hour. And then as you get into Piketon, it's a little bit calmer, and that's where we start to see that couplet sort of form a little bit. Not really a couplet because it's not there fully. I'm going to see if I can't get a radar update real quick and see what's happening. And there you go. The couplet's actually sort of diminished, but the winds have really picked up here towards Piketon. We have 47 miles per hour radar estimated here on the south side of Piketon.
Yep. Ryan, unless you have something else you would like to add, we've been talking about Bill and its potential impacts flood-wise and severe weather-wise. We've been talking about the ongoing rainfall that's been going on across the state. It looks like maybe once next week gets here, we're going to finally get to dry out, but the impacts are still going to linger.
Oh, I'm hoping so because my sister's wedding is actually next weekend. So we're going to keep watching the long-range model and see what happens once we can get all of this mess through this week out of here and see if we can't get into some summer-like temperatures, which, by the way, Nick, what's coming up this Sunday?
It's a great question. What is going to come up this Sunday?
How about summertime?
Oh, that's right. We do have the first day of summer that is approaching us, which is also Father's Day.
Yes.
Ironic how that fell this year. So with that being said, I can tell you that hopefully by next weekend, a lot of our floodwaters are receding. I do see the remnants of Bill getting out of here Sunday night. I've seen a couple models trying to linger in some moisture into Monday. So to be honest with you, yes, you're going to see our 5-day forecast posted. Friday, we might catch a little bit of a break, but I'm not completely optimistic that we're going to stay dry all day. But if I had to put money on what day we have the least, that we're going to see the least coverage of rain until the weekend, Friday's going to be the day. I'm only calling for about a 30 to maybe 40% chance of rain here across central Ohio for right now. And again, that may change as we get a little closer and depend on the exact track and timing and intensity of what is left of what was Bill, which has absolutely inundated Texas again. And they need they really need the time to dry out more than we do.
Nick, I was just noticing on the GFS, which goes out, 2.5 weeks, I think it is. The estimated rainfall amounts, once we get through this week, it's not showing really that much more rain onto it, maybe another inch or two. But in the next forecast range of 2 weeks, once we get past this, we should start to calm things down and hopefully tap into some warmer temperatures while staying a little bit wet.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't get flooding rain like we've had for the last week or so. And I do plan on this weekend being safe. My goal is to get out and take some pictures to share with you guys. We're going to continue to watch the flooding situation over the next several days. We'll try and get some pictures snapped, and we'll let you know the latest developments as they come in on Bill. And especially if we get a severe weather threat, we're going to watch that as well. So, Ryan, I think we're going to go ahead and begin to wrap things up here if you have any final comments.
I think we pretty much hit on everything out there that we can tonight. We are going to try and start doing this a little bit more to give you a live broadcast, to give you a on-the-fly experience of what's going on out there. Hopefully next time we can be a little more, now that we know what we're doing, be a little bit cleaner with this.
Yep, hopefully that's what we can do. So for student meteorologist Ryan Kaufman, I'm Chief Weather Forecaster Nicholas Dunn. Keep it tuned to all 7 networks of Ohio's News Center for the latest on the remnants of Tropical Storm Bill and the remnants of whatever rain is going to be left out there tonight and the rest of the rain to come for the remainder of the week. For Ryan Kaufman, I'm Nicholas Dunn. Stay safe, stay dry, and remember, turn around, don't drown.